Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So what I want to talk to you about today are the best steroids for vascularity. Now let me just throw out a disclaimer here before we get into this. I'm telling you the best ones for vascularity, but it does not mean that you should use them. Okay, a lot of these steroids are for more advanced users. They're for people that are in certain condition. So just because something's on this list, please don't write me and go, well, I saw your video on this. I want to use this. I'm 25% body fat and I'm 10 years old and da-da-da-da-da. Just because they're on this list doesn't mean that you should use them. I'm simply educating you on what is going to be the best to provide vascularity. Okay, I just want to make that clear before I get into it. Now, there's actually pretty much damn near all steroids can give you good vascularity aside from, D-ball with a lot of water retention and, things like that. But I want to talk to you about the ones that really, really enhance it to the highest extent. And you're going to be looking at your more muscle hardeners and cutting type of steroids or cutters, so to speak. So let's just jump into it. I think the obvious number one here is going to be trenbolone. Trenbolone is going to give you really nice, strong vascularity. When you use Tren, you will tend to notice, especially if you're using Tren Ace, rather quickly the vascularity. When you use something that helps you lean out, it's clearly going to help to ensure vascularity. And although Tren can be used in multiple facets and ways, we know Tren is a really good nutrient partitioner and it really enables that vascularity to shine. But here's the one that's right up there with Tren that people don't tend to talk about in terms of vascularity, and that's Equipoise. And Equipoise really enhances endurance, which obviously allows you to do more in what you're doing with your workouts in terms of, like muscular endurance, where you can not necessarily need as long of breaks in between sets, and you can really get after it more, and the vascularity shines with Equipoise. It really does. So that's one that you really want to consider as a top, steroid if you're really looking for vascularity. It's one that doesn't get mentioned in that, kind of facet enough, but it really, really enhances it. For me, Winstrol does it probably better than anything. That's just me personally. The muscle hardening effects from Winstrol and the tightening, I don't know what it is about Winstrol for me, but I see like just veins in my stomach that you can't even believe even exist. I've got pictures from one of the first times that I've done it, and I look at them and I just think to myself, good Lord, is that reality? I don't know why. That's for me. But it does do it for generally most people that use it. Now, let me explain something to you too. If you're not lean enough, in circumstances, you run these, you're still not going to see that much vascularity. You've got to be lean first to really get that to shine. It's like using a muscle hardener and not being lean. Well, you really don't have anything to harden. It can help to bring it out more, but you got to remember something, that you can't be overweight and do this and expect to get these vascularity. I just want to point that out to you. Anavar is another one, not my favorite on my favorites list. I think we know that, but Anavar really, really is nice for, what Anavar is nice for is if you have like troublesome belly fat, like you're in really good condition. Like I know guys that are like 8% body fat, but they're, and the lower abs are always really difficult to get past certain areas. Once you get to a spot, it's like, man, I can't burn that anymore. Anavar is really good at targeting certain like stubborn fat areas and helping to rid you in those areas, and it will make you vascular. Not to the extent of others I've listed, but it will do that. Halotestin. Halotestin is another one that can make you extremely vascular. One thing you think of with halotestin that I always say as a little phrase is hard as nails, because that's what it does. And anytime that you get hardening to that effect, you're going to see a lot of vascularity. And halotestin is absolutely just ridiculous at vascularity, but also a steroid that needs to be used with extreme caution. Extreme caution, and it is not a beginner steroid. Then, my friend, one of my favorites, actually my favorite steroid, Primobolan. Primobolan is one of the best steroids for constant and continuous lean muscle gain. And within that lean muscle gain, it's just so clean, and the muscle hardening is just clearly clearly very, very nice and strong there. And then lastly, I think the obvious is Masteron. Masteron is basically the ultimate sculpting aesthetic muscle hardener. It's going to be prime time for increasing vascularity. You will notice veins in all sorts of places that you didn't know that you can get them if you're in the right condition when you use Masteron. Let me finish with and reiterate what I've covered several times, but oftentimes people only hear what they want to hear. These will increase vascularity. It does not mean that everybody should be using them. And on top of that, you cannot increase vascularity, okay, to these extents if you're not in good condition already. A lot of the problems that people have is that they expect something to work when they're overweight or out of shape. Now, you can still see some effects, but if you're not in really good condition, you can't expect huge amounts of vascularity to start popping out. You can't expect things that aren't rational, I guess is what I'm saying. So understand how these work. Understand that these are the best for what I'm saying to increase vascularity, but there are standards that have to be met to accomplish this goal. It's like somebody that thinks, well, I'm just going to sit on the couch every day and eat potato chips and donuts and ice cream, and then I'm just going to start taking steroids and wake up Mr. Olympia Superman. That's not how these things work. These things are there to get you over hurdles and enhance what you're already doing. But if you're not doing anything, there's nothing to enhance. If you don't have a base to enhance, there's nothing to enhance. So if you want to put these expectations on these drugs and compounds to work, you have to put the expectations on yourself to allow them to work. So always remember that and keep that in mind. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli signing off.